Red. It's Clash. Yeah.
Hello, everyone. I am Congressman Cool Rick. This is Reddit Talks Clash. Joining me today, we got Sam and Spencer, whose name still says Sancersaurus, I see.
Oh, someone changed it again. I can't stand you guys. That's okay. That's just my new name. I'm keeping it.
Today, what we're going to talk about is Spencer and I had the opportunity to travel to Finland last week to watch the Clash Worlds and tool around in Wood City, the Supercell headquarters in Helsinki. Got to meet everyone, got to talk to a lot of the devs, workers, and we want to talk to you guys today about everything that I'll say everything that we're allowed to say. It's not going to be a whole lot about the update. I don't want to clickbait you into this one, but we did get to see pretty much the next update almost in its entirety. Got to play with it a little bit, and probably more importantly, we got to talk to a lot of the people involved in making it, and we just want to convey all the all of the amazing feelings we came back with about the future Clash in 2024. So I guess let's just get straight into it. Spencer, when did you find out you were going?
Yeah, so I was just sitting on my couch at 3 a.m. watching some Walking Dead.
You remember that very well.
Oh, it's one of my top 10 memories now. And I'm just sitting there and I get a notification in email from Supercell events. I'm like, what could this be? And then turns out it was an invite to Finland. And I just started freaking out. I wanted to cry in the moment, but I was just too happy to even happy to cry. I feel like I was ecstatic. And then I found out Rick was coming, and I was just thrilled. Like I couldn't wait for it to come. What about you, Rick?
Yeah, I was on my 10th anniversary trip. I took a cruise with my wife back in August. Woke up one morning and had about 1 billion messages from you and everyone else. It was a little weird having to miss Thanksgiving. We got into Helsinki on a Wednesday. All right, tell everyone what happened that night.
So I land, and I have to rant somewhere, and I wait at the baggage claim for 2 hours. But standing up, by the way, yeah, there are no seating. Anyway, I get to the hotel. I'm like, where's Rick? Turns out he doesn't come for another 5 or 6 hours. He's like one of the last ones to show up, so I'm waiting for Rick the whole night. But I get to chill with Ninja and stuff. And that first night, we just had dinner that first night, correct?
Yeah, I don't think there were any events. It was just
Oh, I was hoping there was some really exciting story coming the way you just phrased that. Like, what happened on Wednesday, Spencer?
Well, just waiting at that baggage claim for 2 hours was rough. But I would do it again.
Yeah, there was a huge, a nice big dinner in the hotel lobby that they served us. We got to hang out, meet everyone. I'd met most everyone last year, but Spence, it must have been pretty cool for you to go meet all those people for the first time. Is there anyone you talked to that first night who left an impression on you?
I got to hang out with Clash Ninja and some of the other mods. I got to meet Cart. And the one and only Judo Sloth came up and shook my hand and introduced himself to me, which I thought was super cool.
Have you washed your hands since?
Yo, I'm not gonna fangirl over Judo Sloth, but yeah, it was pretty exciting.
You did nothing but fangirl like all week.
Oh my gosh, I was ecstatic the whole. Oh my gosh, even when we'll get to that later.
Yeah, you were just like floating when I finally showed up.
Yep.
The day that I think most everyone's going to find the most interesting is Thursday, the following day after we.
Oh yeah.
After we flew in, got settled in the hotel rooms, had dinner, and caught up on a lot of sleep because it was like 24 hours of trek there.
Gosh, yeah.
Probably the thing that everyone's more interested in, besides like who Spencer got to fanboy over. The next day we went to Wood City. The Supercell headquarters across the street. They took us up to the top floor where they had a huge presentation set out, and they showed us Town Hall 16 for the first time. So I guess, Spencer, what was your reaction to seeing it all?
Yeah, so sitting there before, I knew they were going to show us Town Hall 16, but I'm thinking, ooh, this could really like set the mood for the trip if it's disappointing, But overall, after that presentation, I think everyone in the room was just kind of blown away by everything in it.
It was a real positive reaction. It was real fun.
Oh yeah,
It was like a whole bunch of kids finding out what they're getting on Christmas.
yeah, literally.
All the excitement wasn't only about seeing Town Hall 16, which was awesome. We're really pumped about it.
Mm-hmm.
They also kind of laid out the plan for the rest of 2024, and it's just chock full of good stuff. And we'll get into as much of that as we can. I know this is gonna be a real like tease of an episode.
Honestly, everyone's just waiting for you to slip. Everyone
Yeah.
here, including me, is just
Oh,
waiting for you to.
I know. I'm so paranoid. I was trying to think of ways I could like slip in hints that if you listen to
Yeah,
this,
just don't do that. Just don't do that.
after the
gosh,
release,
yeah.
you'd be like, oh yeah, like Rick told us stuff, but it's also like, yeah, no, I really don't want to slip up.
Yeah, gotta be cautious.
Like real electric energy in the room when we learned about all the cool stuff that's coming for Town Hall 16. All the the defense changes, the offense changes, all the cool stuff. We learned about hammer jams coming. It was someone's asking if it was more impressive than the Town Hall reveal, or the Town Hall 14 reveal. No one was there for the 14 reveal, but I can speak to. I don't know. People were really excited for both. Being in the room versus 16, I think people were more excited for 16 just because, like 14, people didn't hate 14, but people really disliked 15. So seeing how they're gonna address the problems of Town Hall 15 with this future update, it was it's a lot of relief and it's just it's exciting to see the direction the game's gonna go.
Yeah, I agree.
All right, anything else you want to add about like the Town Hall 16 presentation? I guess
Nothing that wouldn't get me in trouble, so no.
they walked us through all 2024 of Clash. It's got me excited. And then we also got to see the next Clash Royale, and I don't really care about Clash Royale, but the thing is most similar from last year to this year is the reactions between the Clash Clans players and the Clash Royale players. Were most of the Clash Clans guys were super excited to see what's coming, and the Clash Royale side was I don't know, tepid at best. And then
No
it
comment.
was we had a lot of Q&A. We got to ask just a ton of questions and get all those answered. Probably one of my favorite parts of the whole week was the afternoon after we had lunch.
Best part.
Oh, yeah. Tell us about that.
Oh, great. I'm gonna tiptoe very lightly. So yeah, after the presentation, we broke into groups, and each group kind of got to talk with someone on the dev team. And I think that's all I'm going to say there. I was in the same group with Rick, and
it is weird trying to like. I get it. It's hard on the fly, trying to think like, what am I allowed to say? What should I say? What's going to get me or someone else in trouble?
I mean, I can already see Cart in chat absolutely panicking already at you two. So just do tread carefully. Don't want to be at the scene of the crime.
Let's just go to Friday.
No, it's cool. No, because like I think this has an important takeaway too at the end, where they had little breakout groups scheduled for most people, I think, and yeah, we divided up where we got one-on-one time, or not one-on-one time, but like small group time with devs or community managers. In a group with Darian and Stuart. And it was the whole focus of that little mini focus group was, hey, like imagine Clash in 2027, which would be the 15-year anniversary. Like, how do you see the game? What is driving players away? What is going to keep them playing that long? And yeah, we got to sit in there with some really big names in the game too. I was kind of wondering what the hell I was doing in that room.
I know obviously you can't talk details here, but did you feel like you were being listened to, as in genuinely listened to, when you were giving whatever feedback you were being asked about?
Yes, very much so.
Yeah.
It wasn't just almost an exercise for them. It was actually constructive.
So one of the things that we kept hearing too is like what's valuable to Supercell in flying everyone out there. is that one-on-one feedback time and having that discussion with people who are, like really passionate about the game, but on the outside.
Yep.
Us as players and content creators have a different perspective than just people who are constantly, inside the code and working on the game. Hearing our feedback in that like personal, face-to-face conversation kind of forum is really sad. They had a bunch of different groups about a bunch of different. There was API stuff, there's future of the game stuff, and they were really interested in hearing our opinions, asking us as many questions as we were asked, just to make sure that they're on track. We had dinner that night, and we, Spencer and I pulled aside one of the devs, and man, we just badgered him with questions for like 3 hours.
No, it was like 5 hours.
He sat down. It was a really nice dinner. They like were serving us at the table.
They kept bringing food. It was great.
Yeah,
Wow.
like beef tartare, and it was a fancy dinner.
Tartare?
Yeah, but yeah, we made it back over there at like 5 and just sat down, started drinking a little beer. Then they had just giant coolers of beer everywhere, and sat down, started talking to this guy, talked through dinner, and then a couple hours after dinner.
Yeah, we were like the last ones to leave.
What was really cool though is again just like seeing how interested he was in our feedback, and then hearing all the different perspectives that he brought to the table. He was one of the newer guys. They've doubled the size of their team in the last year. So hearing like his perspective as a newer person in Supercell and the directions that they want to take the game. Yeah, was there anything about that conversation you wanted to share, Spencer?
Nothing outside the fact that it was probably my favorite part of the whole trip.
Is there anything rather interesting you can share from that conversation?
Nope.
Okay, it was all about the future, so it was nothing.
Yeah.
Nothing that. Okay.
Yeah.
It. You guys are terrible.
Hey, I ain't trying to get in trouble over here.
I'm trying to frame things and figure out ways that I can share what it was about these talks that has me so excited for the future Clash. There are certain things in the update that like I questioned at first, and it was really valuable to be able to immediately like ask those kind of questions, and then hear the answer too. Like one of the things that I walked away from that conversation with a better understanding of was like the value in games are monetized and what aspects of it are monetized. Clash has always been a fairly free to play friendly game, and it still will be, and just hearing how important that was to them was very reassuring, and also just seeing how they draw those lines between play friendly and still needing to monetize new features of the game to keep long term. And I know one of the best things that I heard him ultimately, it's not about designing features that will make money, designing features that are fun first and foremost, because I don't remember the exact quote, but he said something basically along the lines of like fun is how you earn money in a game. So the fact that they're focusing on making it an enjoyable experience and making it a rewarding experience, whether you want to get through it faster or not. I don't know. Like it was very reassuring about some of the questions I had about the specifics of the update.
Yeah.
Okay, right then. Well, tell us. So, outside of your little grubby backroom deals, what was being at Worlds like? Was it fun?
Yeah. So that was day 3 or Sunday.
Yeah. Friday, Saturday, Sunday were the finals.
First bus out. Pull up to the arena, and we walk in, and I thought it was going to be same or similar arena as last year, but they went a completely different direction with it. I don't know if you guys saw my post comparing the two, but they're actually insanely different.
It was crazy to see how different that they built that arena, knowing it was in the exact same space that it was last year. We went in through the same door, and like the second you go in that door, everything was different about it.
Yeah, it had a lot more of a modern feel to it, less cozy.
It was huge.
I saw people calling it. It felt really massive, really open, but pretty simplistic. I would have preferred the arena last year but this year was still incredible.
Yeah, so last year they kind of tried to put you in the Clash universe, didn't they? Like it was all green, there was loads of decorations, and it was cool like that. This year, more modern, like it looks more like a typical esports arena, I would say. Do either of you have any like strong preferences? What would if they for the third year, or I guess obviously not the third year, but the third year of uh comparison, what would you encourage them to do next year?
It just kind of felt like any other esports venue. It was like, don't get me wrong, it was really nice, really modern, really sleek. But I feel like Supercell is top of the top. They should go outside the box and continue really using the ideas they used for that first year venue. But it's at the end of the day, it's just a venue. It's not a huge deal. But
Yeah.
I'm just saying my preference here.
Yeah, I mean it's just like a set for a production. So I know last year it felt smaller last year just because you come in the door and you like walk through like this clashy aesthetic. You go up a huge set of stairs and come down over grass and rocks everywhere, and then you come basically through a tunnel out into the arena, and it felt like it didn't feel small, but this year definitely felt bigger. Whereas this year, you came through and it was just wide open. It's huge. They had these, the black and white boxes everywhere.
No.
Wow, that's very generous.
A lot more seating in the stands. I don't know. But it was cool. Like I think a lot of differences were driven by the fact that they didn't have as long to set up as they did last year. So they went just like, hey, let's make it sleek, modern, because it's what they can get done. But I think they did a great job.
Yeah, it was really nice. I was telling Rick while we were in the venue, last year was kind of the first year they really did Clash Fest, and so they learned what to improve from last year this year. So this year was better, and then they're going to use what they learned this year to make even next year better. So I feel like it's just going to get better as we move on.
Yeah, awesome. So I know we kind of covered the arena there, but as for the actual attacks, which team were you guys rooting for, and did that change throughout
That's really fun.
the
Yeah.
weekend?
Yeah, so the first night I was there, way even before the tournament started, Carbon Fin, was it Yeah, Carbon Fin went up to me, and because he was handing out these pins to represent what team, and he was like, "Which one do you want?" And at that moment, I was not rooting for any team, but I didn't want to like expose myself, so I was like, "Oh, give me," and then I was looking in the box, I only recognized one logo. I was like, "Give me that
Oh,
Clash Champs logo," and he gave me the Clash Champs pin, and so I got to root for them the weekend, and they actually ended up winning.
Rick, how about yourself?
Yeah, coming into it, like Clash Champs is cool just because, it's sponsored by like a member of the creator community, so it kind of feels like we were predisposed to be cheering for them, and
Mhm.
they were a solid team. A lot of people in the arena were there for Revive. The team like I think surprised everyone was the Chinese team, Super
Oh yeah,
BLTX. I think everyone just
yeah.
had basically dismissed them, and then
Yeah, absolutely.
they won they won that first war, and it wasn't like close even. Who they think they beat early attacks early on, right?
Yeah.
Mhm.
So yeah, I know it was kind of shocking, and then they beat a couple more teams too. Uh, it definitely that was the surprise for me out of all that.
Yeah, I would like to issue a correction there from Godley that it wasn't a walk in the park in the first war. It was actually a 12-12 victory on percent, but I think they did definitely win another war after that with a larger margin.
Mhm.
Oh, okay. In the final, though, I did want Repotted to win. I didn't think they were
Yeah.
going to. I was crossing my fingers for it.
Yeah, I feel like during that last match, a lot of the audience was just rooting for Ripotted Gaming there. Even though we all kind of knew they wouldn't win, we just were really hoping that they would pull through and get that victory.
Was it just because they were underdogs, so everyone kind of naturally
Yeah.
gravitated towards them? Yeah.
Yep.
The Clash Champs team had some like very decisive wins. They straight up crushed some teams, and Repotted
Oh yeah.
like all Repotted wins up to that point didn't really feel they were overwhelming wins. It felt like it was a lot of close wars.
Oh yeah.
And they kind of squeaked by in. So I know I didn't have a whole lot of confidence, like they'd be able to beat Clash Champs twice in a row. But it's hard to say Clash Champs didn't earn it. They dominated teams. They had one perfect war. They were one of the two teams there that had a perfect war. Yeah, they took it straight. They took it straight to the end. They definitely earned that win.
Yeah, well, was there a good amount of celebrations in the end? I mean, I did notice they managed to snap the trophy in half, which I found quite funny.
Inside the arena, it didn't feel too exciting. There was, a small group of, like obviously the Clash Champs guys and a lot of other creators that were all sitting together were having a huge celebration too. Most of the rest of the arena it felt like they were less than excited. I think a lot of them were, like the people there for Tribe, another German team, or the, obviously the people were Rapotted and Navi, and they were just, like everyone was polite and celebrating too, but it didn't feel as like electric in the atmosphere as it did when Navi won last year. It was funny to see like how the meta had emerged into the finals too. It was probably one of the more diverse, like attack wise, world finals that we'd seen in a long time.
Yeah, I mean, if you think back to the Town 14 Worlds, it was almost exclusively Lalo, right? It was constant barrages of Lalo, and while they were impressive to watch, did get a bit repetitive. I think every single team seemed to bring their own flair. I mean, the Chinese team, Sat BLTX, they used a lot of Stinky Goblins for the Town Hall, which kind of had fallen out of the meta more recently, but they used it a lot. There were quite a lot of Super Archer Blimps. At the same time, there were lots of Hogs. There's a bit of Lalo in there. Yeah, there was a real wide variety. Was there any teams that really kind of stood out to you and you thought, wow, that they've got some interesting attacks?
I was surprised that Tribe had so many Super Dragon attacks. I didn't watch a lot of Tribe Wars in the year leading up to it, but it felt like that was really like nearly all that Tribe did was Super Drags, and obviously didn't super work out for him either.
I mean, they did get one perfect war, to be fair to them. But yes, then they came crashing out.
They did have a lot of success with them too. Like most of their attacks were the ones that didn't work out were still there was a lot of very high percentage 2-stars. Godly posted a lot of the stats that she'd collected through watching that too, and so the three biggest attack styles that we saw were Super Barbs, Lalo, Super Drags, and Titans, and those four accounted for percent of everything that we saw. Like Twin Hogs was the next. But yeah, Super Barbs and Lalo were 27% respectively.
But then even think, just compare that to last year, the amount of Lalo attacks there would have been, like the percentage would have been way higher. So it is quite nice to see a bit more diversity. Also saw, as those stats reflect, 15.7% of attacks had a Skelly Donut in. I did notice they always drew some good applause from the crowd, as they are always incredibly risky. So it's quite fun to see players kind of make it more exciting doing attacks like that.
There were a lot of like more donuts that took town halls down, and it's really it was interesting to see the variety of openers that were there. All the different blimps, and not just like it was weird to watch so many Town Hall 15 attacks in a row and see like absolutely nothing that I'm capable of doing. Something, like I don't do donuts. I don't do big long queen walks.
Yeah.
The Town Hall 15 meta has really, it's all about the heroes.
Definitely. Especially with those super barb attacks. I mean, it's really about keeping the heroes alive.
Yeah, and it's just like I know it's funny to see like the bulk of an army. If you're bringing 30 some super barbs, that's half your army space, and it's all dedicated to like funneling your heroes slowly and carefully.
Did Worlds gonna make you maybe more interested in esports? Because I know you're not exactly an avid watcher of competitive wars. Do you think kind of just seeing the, like you said, the kind of skill level, which was just a bit beyond you, kind of will make you more interested to watch those kind of levels of wars just on YouTube throughout the year?
No, it makes me want to go play more. And not so
Right,
much like
which is also a good thing.
Yeah. Like I'm I don't think I'm going to be more interested in watching it as a sport, but I am more interested in learning and doing.
Yeah.
What about you, Spencer? You're the guy who doesn't watch and doesn't attack, or at least the least out of us three.
Yeah, what was it like, Spencer, seeing the game being played? He's so embarrassed. Spencer, you are muted if you are actually here. If you just ran away and
Oops, I did not know I was
yeah, there we
muted.
go.
Yeah, I was talking. And yeah, so right now, and for the last few years, all I've been doing is spamming E-Drags and Super Drags when they were actually really good. And so sitting there and watching it, watching all the attacks, watching how they do everything with their heroes, I actually feel like I learned a lot about attacking, and maybe even just by watching, I feel like maybe I could improve. Not like an E-Drag attack, but I feel like I could really understand how attacks work if I try to try new strategies.
Did it tempt you to maybe bump up to two attacks per day now, or are we still sticking with the one?
Still sticking to the half of one, if any.
At half of one, you do half an attack. Wow.
No, I feel like I attack once every other day, maybe. But I'm always online.
The other interesting stat too is that the double rage towers were used on 88% of all bases.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Hmm.
Before they weren't like that. It was actually the most popular was Rage Invis, taking a third of it, and then Rage taking another third of it. But this year's it was nearly 90% double Rage, which was a huge difference.
Just remember, like when Town Hall 15 was new, we all thought Rage Towers like it's the one you get a level
Yep.
1. It's the worst.
Yep.
Like they nerfed it 10. They nerfed
Literally
it
my
10 or
thought.
20% or whatever they did. And you're like, who cares? Like no one uses Rage Towers anyway.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Just another big difference between base building for the randos who attack you and Masters 2 CWL versus the top of the top.
Well, yeah, that's what I was about to say. I think, especially I noticed this even just in the difference of being in low legends and slightly higher legends, or being in, say, champ CWL, is that like often lower bases seem to use a lot of poison and invis towers because to a maybe less experienced player, an invis tower can really trip them up, right? I mean, there are lots of kind of troll bases that are made near the start of Town 15, like with a center town hall with 2 invis towers or something, just to kind of bait people who are just unprepared for them. And the same kind of went with the poison. It was a thing that slowed all your troops down, damaged them, made things hell. Yeah, it feels like they can catch out a less experienced player more. But I guess with the pros, they can all plan adequately to deal with those kind of spell towers. They're predictable. Whereas if you have a rage tower, I mean, you can't really plan around that aside from just bringing lots of freezes to stop the defenses absolutely destroying you. And I think with the emergence of the kind of twin hog meta as well, when Super Hog Riders came out and they were being used in conjunction with regular Hog Riders, and obviously a Rage Scatter or a Rage Multi can shred them to bits. And the same goes for a Lalo attack, for example. I think just having a pure amount of increased damage is just something you can't really work around. You just had to kind of accept it. Whereas Poison or Invis, you can plan around it more and kind of negate it, whereas you can't really do that for a Rage Tower.
It reminded me a lot of old school Town Hall 9 and Town Hall 8, where you had to, which is largely hogs way back in the day, but you had to like find and pre-trigger where the double giant bombs were. So you saw a lot of people, exploiting rage towers that had been already triggered and not recharged yet. I think it was just one single base that had like double poison. I remember whoever was casting that one like had called it out as like probably a mistake. They're like, oh, like I wonder if
Yes,
this
I
is the
remember
wrong
that.
base that they had put up.
I can't actually remember if it ended up defending or not, but yeah, I do remember one of the casters saying that. I mean, I guess to kind of take the opinion of us, which are not pro players, what spell towers kind of scare you guys the most? Do you panic when you see a rage tower, or do you panic when you see
Not
a
at
spell
all.
tower, invis tower? I mean, what
Yeah, so
invokes
whenever
fear?
I see an Invis tower on a town hall, I automatically skip that base. I know you could just freeze it, but with E-Drags, I swear, a chain lightning will go straight to that Invis tower before my blimp reaches the town hall, and I'm just
Oh
screwed
yeah,
that the rest of the attack.
yeah. I know. Like it really just depends on the attack I'm doing. at the time too. I try and change up and use a lot of different stuff when I'm practicing for war. So there's nothing that like I won't hard avoid, but definitely like depending on the day, like seeing rage in a real thick box base kind of core, like a lot of times that just sucks, and I know I'm not gonna do good just
Yeah.
because I'm having, like I don't have any way to deal with it with the army I'm bringing to Legends that day. But like in war though, like nothing really scares me off. You just have to change how you're gonna approach those bases. And like poison near the town hall, like a lot of my attacks have been, over the last year have been super archer blimps, and that one always is annoying if you can't like avoid it with a high probability. Those are the ones I'd say I probably avoid the most.
Yeah, definitely some, I guess, surprising stats for a lot of people, that spell tower usage, but I guess people more in tune with the pro scene probably weren't too shocked to see that. So is there any other big things you want to point out about your trip? If not, I'm going to start probing you with questions and hoping you accidentally let something slip.
God.
Yeah, I got nothing I want to add right now off the top of my head.
Okay, well, my first question to try extract something from you, which I hope works, but for your sakes, I hope doesn't, is what did you learn? What was like the coolest thing you learned that you didn't know before? And do pick your words carefully here without incriminating yourself.
Oh gosh, I gotta think.
I guess maybe think about more how maybe Supercell is run or their approach to game design, kind of that sort of thing, rather than content specific. Because obviously, anything you say about content will probably land you into a lot of.
I should have prepared these questions
I was
beforehand.
about to say, I would have hoped you would have at least thought about. God, I've just come from this amazing trip. What was?
Oh gosh.
So, I mean, I learned a lot of like technical stuff that I didn't know before. In my mindless like asking every question I could think of.
Mhm.
Just like it was a couple weeks ago. Oh no, it was right at the end of the Halloween event too. Where's that day where Legends was just royally screwed up. So I got to ask Stuart like, hey, like what was that about? What happened? And yeah, no, and like so, hearing like a lot of the technical reasons why those glitches happen and aren't caught was interesting, and it makes me a lot more sympathetic for when it for when that stuff does actually happen and get through.
Yeah, no, I guess everyone kind of launches into violent abuse of Supercell whenever stuff like that happens, but I'm sure they're trying their best. Spencer, anything interesting you learnt on your trip?
Supercell is a massive company. But when you're there and you're talking to the employees, it doesn't feel like a huge company or very businessy at all. All the employees that I met were just super nice. Some of them knew who I was, like right after looking at me, and I was like, "What? No shot." But yeah, it kind of just felt like a massive friendly hangout, a massive party the entire time, which was really nice.
When you're there and you get to see everyone face to face and talk to people about things they're passionate about. Yeah, I don't know. It definitely humanized Supercell a lot more for me, last year and this year even more so.
Yeah, so I guess continuing on the theme of learning things from this trip, do you think there was any experience that will kind of help you with actually being a Reddit mod? Because of course, I guess a lot of people could ask, why on earth are a bunch of losers who moderate the Reddit being flown out to Finland, all expenses paid, and given a bunch of lovely meals and opportunities to chat with the Clash of Clans devs? So go on, tell us, why on
Oh
earth is
yeah.
Supercell spending money on you?
Yeah, so I actually want to answer this one first. I am very active on the subreddit. I post a lot and remove a lot of posts, and so I really see the community, and I feel like I know the community like the back of my hand. I know everyone, the grand opinion of things from the community as far as the game goes. And so in a lot of discussions, when there were other creators there, I feel like I kind of had more of an insight into the general opinion of things in the game, whereas other creators didn't. And that was actually really helpful, especially during that first dinner when one of the devs was just asking kind of what we thought, and I got to bring in the community too.
Yeah, well, so we have Spencer, man of the people. Rick, what about you?
it's really valuable building like relationships with people there too. So we can, obviously with Darian, who we got to agree to come do an AMA after the update. So everyone can look forward to that. But yeah, just being able to put faces to names, not just with Supercell, but with everyone else in the creator community as well. Just building relationships is probably the most valuable thing.
Oh yeah, I shook probably 1,000 hands on that trip.
Wow, that is quite a stat. And I guess I see there are so many questions I want to ask you and get really into it, but obviously you can't say much. But in the most vague terms possible, what are your kind of thoughts on the direction of Clash for next year? And don't just say well, yeah, say what you can.
Really happy with it. Based off, they know what they're doing. That's all I'm gonna say.
Rick, do you feel confidence? Because I know obviously I'm assuming saw a similar thing last year in terms of what 2023 is going to look like. Do you feel more excited, more confident, more enthusiastic this time?
Yes, definitely. So, like last year, I came out really strongly in favor of Town Hall 15 and everything that was going to bring because I'd seen like the one of the only complaints about Town Hall 14 that it was too easy. And when we got to look at the monolith and spell towers too, we're like, okay, cool, like this is going to be a real challenge.
That's sorted it.
And then yeah, and like they laid out their plan too, for up until, but this year I am still confident, not just them addressing like one problem, but a lot of the stuff they're doing this year is going to be addressed the different complaints that we've heard about Town Hall, not just about Town Hall 15, but about, like larger aspects of the game too. But there's a lot of extra bodies there now too to start knocking out a lot of the stuff that they've just put off for far too long. So I think we're going to get a lot of that stuff in 2024 as well.
I guess kind of on the flip side of things you're excited about, which seem to be plentiful, is there anything which kind of made you a bit nervous or that made you think, oh, that's not it, or just anything
Oh
that you're
yeah.
just not overall that excited for?
Seeing stuff, I was kind of already able to predict how some dumb people in the community are going to react, and I know like the type of posts I'm going to see a million times of people not fully informed about stuff and just assuming things. So I was like, oh, I'm gonna have to deal with this for a while. And I actually said to Rick, like, we should get some pre-written answers we could copy and paste. Um,
Yeah. So I don't know, like it's hard to judge it without seeing like without having my hands on it and seeing the full finished product, and how it's going to interact with everyone and what comes out of me, like the balance is always really hard to guess at ahead of time. So like, is the new stuff going to be balanced? Is where the hit rate's going to land? I don't know, but I'm confident that it's going to be their focus, and they're really trying to shift it in a direction that's healthy for the game. There are there are things that I do have reservations about, which obviously, like, we'll get into on the on in the update episode too, and hopefully by
Yeah.
then we have a better idea of how it's going to be. But these are all things that we had the opportunity to bring up. Every time I raised a concern, it was, I think someone actually listened and took what we were saying seriously and had a satisfying response to it as well. So I know that's probably not, like, I don't know, like,
I mean, you're restricted here, right?
yeah, like I'm optimistic.
Okay. Well, I think that kind of mostly wraps up all the annoying questions I had for you to try and get stuff from me. I'm sure everyone listening is extremely disappointed that you managed not to slip. But congratulations. Should we move on to things that we all can talk about, which is Hammer Jam? So that has started a few days ago.
oh yeah.
And can someone tell me what Hammer Jam means?
that's actually pretty debatable in the community,
Is
especially
it?
before it launched. Yeah, a lot of people were like, "Oh, why isn't it half off heroes, or why isn't it half off time for everything?"
Hmm.
I saw that a lot, and then I saw some people saying, "Oh, well, it used to be that," and then that's when I thought, well, they should just make it very simple and do half off everything, time, cost. Sure, that's a little OP, but it's only for 2 weeks, and it's always before a new tunnel level. So come on, give us a little bit more fun.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't
Yeah.
realize that that heroes weren't included in Hammer Jam, as Liam has now just put in chat to remind
He
me. Don't worry,
exposed you
I confess this myself. I don't need
in
you
that.
to try and embarrass me because it doesn't work. I didn't realize that heroes weren't included in Hammer Jammers. I think someone even mod mailed saying about like, oh, there's a bug that heroes aren't included. I was like, oh, you should make a post about that. Until someone pointed out to be that no, that's intentional, which is kind of surprising because you think heroes would be one of the things that because I guess Hammer Jam is designed to get people up to speed before a new town hall drops, and you feel like heroes would be one thing that some people might be lagging on, right? Because there are so many levels,
Oh yeah.
takes a long time, means you can't use your heroes, people put it off, lost star elixir. So yeah, I was honestly quite surprised that they weren't included.
Yeah, it's disappointing because heroes were included in Hammer Jams of the past.
Were they?
hmm
Okay, so I'm not going mad. That's good.
Yeah, like it's the most important part of your offense too, and like there were conversations on hero upgrade times and using heroes during war, and lots of things that the community has a problem with too. So it's disappointing that they removed like the that they removed heroes out of Hammer Jam too, because Supercell can be strong and have strong heroes. Obviously, because it's going to encourage you to use hero books, but also because like that's how you game too. So, I would really love to see them find ways to speed up hero progression, and I hope that comes.
Yeah, I think it is probably a missed opportunity though, albeit one that was almost definitely intentional. Uh, any other news we're kind of missing? Oh, of course. What have you guys picked? Are you Team Trees or Team C's?
Team C is all the way.
Team C's all the way. I agree. Rick?
Spencer told me to pick trees to hedge our bets, and
Y-
in case there's like
Right.
in case there's creator stuff.
hmm
But I do like I do a pig pen, I guess. Yeah, I'm talking myself into it.
I picked it because of the duck. I saw the duck. I was in love. There we go. Team C's.
Yeah, the duck was just really cute. I didn't like the color of the pen. The gray, was it brownish light tan color?
I mean, I guess an Earth theme, but I'm still not quite sure. I'm still not quite sure what pigs have to do with trees, to be completely honest. But yeah.
I mean, if they gave you a tree deco, we already have trees that spawn in our village, you know?
Yeah, but it could have been a
It,
cool
it, it is
tree.
really weird too, because like a lot of the cause of deforestation is like for farmland. So I don't know what
Oh no.
adding like a pig pen into it was supposed to be. It seems like
Um,
backwards to me, but I don't know.
yeah. Clearly something that maybe wasn't thought about that much.
And there was also pretty big news that wasn't really supposed to be news. We had a maintenance break and something actually slipped through the maintenance. Super minor balance change. I don't want to call it a nerf, even though it's kind of a nerf, but there is a more of a balance change. What are your
See,
thoughts?
am I right in saying that Supercell still said nothing about this?
No, not that I've seen. I am so paranoid that this is our fault.
Oh, oh gosh.
Yeah, because we are the only people in the world who have ever talked about superminers. That fair enough.
No. It's like the timing thing of it. Like obviously, like super miners getting nerfed isn't our fault, and it was always going to happen. Like we said it for a while ago, but just like timing wise, uh, we were last night after the finals. There's a big like after party dinner, and sitting around talking to people, and it was myself, Ninja, Spencer, others just chatting with Stuart for a while, and then like I just said I said, hey, like so when are you gonna nerf super miners? And Stuart kind of like,
Oh no.
like he's like, I don't know, like yeah, at some point, whatever. And then we hop on a plane, the 6 hours later, and I land
Yep.
in, it was Germany or Denver when I saw it, and then Spencer's texting me like they nerfed super miners last night, and because I was making a ton of jokes like straight to Stuart, like I said, dude, I've never done more capital hits faster,
Yep. Yep.
and using super miners is, like, what was the other thing I said? I was like, using super miners is the best way to not play the game.
Oh my
Yep.
god.
It just
How
We were all
drunk were
joking
you?
about
a
it,
bunch of
but
super miner jokes.
How much had you drunk
yeah.
by this point?
They woke up in the morning and just immediately nerfed super miners.
Gosh.
So I am like half paranoid. I'm like, dang, like was that my fault?
Well, the
So-
reason why I don't think, because I feel like they completely didn't intend on that going through on maintenance because they never announced it anywhere, and I don't even think they still have announced it anywhere.
I don't know, like it was always coming.
Yeah, how did I find out? Well, um, I was sitting at the London Heathrow Airport for a 7-hour layover, and I was
Nice
just
airport, though.
modding the subreddit, keep refreshing the new, and someone posted saying, I think super miners were nerfed, and they showed a screenshot of the new stats, and so I pulled up the wiki, and the wiki had a different stat, and so I go and I message one of the devs. I say, hey, I think a super miner nerf slipped through. And then they didn't confirm or deny it. They just sent me the stats of the balance change. And so I quickly made a graphic and posted it online.
Yeah, I'm not taking the blame for this. You were there, Ninja was there, lots of people were there.
But yeah, what are your thoughts on the balance change itself?
I haven't tested them yet, honestly. I've been distracted doing other stuff. I haven't even done a new friendly challenge with them. I know people in the chat are saying they're getting less one shots, which is probably good. Honestly, like they were too
Yeah.
strong and they were too easy. Like that's just kind of like an objective thing to say. Like I'm gonna if they really are done, I'm gonna miss them. I'm still gonna try. If I have to do 3 hits on some districts now with them, it's still the easiest thing to quickly do. So we'll see. That gets us through most of the things you'd wanted to talk about. If any of you guys hanging out in chat have questions you want to ask, I would love to answer anything that I can. We'll see if we can get Spencer talking and get me to shut up a little bit.
Let's go.
No, hold on. So this is something like this is fun little useless information too that I had. But
Go on.
Sam, do you know how many troops there are in the game?
Oh, no. I don't know why I said
so
ooh, like I know that. Of course I don't.
Yeah. So I don't either. But if you sat down and just like started counting them up, on your fingers or whatever, like went through,
Yeah, I probably get
just
that.
went through them all. You are wrong, because
Okay.
one of the cool little random things we learned too was that technically, like in a very, very technical sense, the defensive ice golem and defensive super minion are different troops in the game. They just have
Right.
one stat. They just have like a one stat change, but the game reads them as different troops.
Interesting.
Oh yeah, that's your fun little bit of gotcha
Yeah,
trivia.
there you go. That's great. I mean, it's better than the Clash of Clans trivia they had going during the World's live stream. But one of the questions was which of these is not a home village troop, and it was something like
Oh yeah.
two actual troops. I don't know, barbarian archer. It wasn't that, but as an example, and then it was electro owl and electro wizard. And obviously, 50% of people picked electro wizard as that is not a troop in the game. But apparently the correct answer was Electro Owl. Now, technically, also true because it's a pet, not a troop. But that
Yeah.
definitely got people a little bit raising their eyebrows as the Electro Wizard is
was
not
really
a troop
funny.
and does not exist in Clash of Clans.
Someone asked, are you more excited for 2024 now that you were for 2023? Yeah, like I said before, I feel like they know what to improve on, and it's just going to keep getting better. So I'm really looking forward to 2024 Clash Fest.
I'm so freaking excited for all the changes coming in this next update. It's going to be so fun. Everyone's going to freaking love it. I am excited for you guys to find out. Like I'm not just
Someone asked, did Supercell talk in more detail about the upcoming social UI changes? No comment there. I cannot confirm nor deny anything.
Just don't even read the question. Don't even read the question. You're already digging
I
yourself
don't
into
want
a
to
hole.
feel like people are getting ignored here.
No,
But yeah, I'm obviously not going to say stuff that
if
I'm
you're
not.
getting ignored, there's a reason.
What we can probably say is, I hope, that there were a bunch of people who brought up some of the UI changes, and we got a big lesson in how games evolve through the years, and just
Yeah.
where game there are standards now in mobile gaming that did not exist when Clash was originally designed, and a lot of that's just getting Clash up to speed with there. But I don't know, like I'm confident that they're gonna figure it out. And
All
the
right.
social changes too. I don't know if I heard anything. Maybe you had different conversations than me.
I don't know.
Right, well, thank you all for listening to this very, I'm sure, aggravating pod where you were waiting and waiting to hear something, and yet you didn't. So hopefully, in the next 2 weeks, we can come back with something more substantial, and Rick and Spencer can finally unleash all this information they know. But until then, you're gonna have to hang
Oh, yeah.
tight, enjoy Hammer Jam. Rick's already gone. Good to see. He is
Oh.
out like a lightning bolt.
But no, like we gotta announce our next episode. We can't say when.
Yes, it's going to be an incredible episode.
Yeah.
So
You're gonna love it. I don't actually know if you're gonna love it.
one of the favorite creators I met 2 years ago, and we hung out with, as well as Clash Bashing, who has
Yes.
generously offered to come back and join us for our update day episode. It'll be the last day of sneak peeks is when we're gonna do that. So can't announce the date as of yet, but we are gonna go through that's the day where all the Town Hall 16, the update stuff, give you guys recommendations, day one upgrades, what's important, how to use it. We'll get into all the new metas that we think are gonna come out, all the info that you guys really want.
Yep.
It's gonna be live here on the Discord server with Clash Bashing, and answering a billion questions, going through the update bit by bit, everything you guys need to know. Very excited to do that, and be on the lookout for the announcement when we make that.
Yeah, we'll see you guys all then.
All right, you guys, say bye.
Wait,
Bye,
I
guys.
want to give out shout outs.
No one cares.
3 shout outs. For once, I actually want to do shout outs.
Okay.
My first shout out goes to Ninja. I got to hang out with him, and he was a lot of fun
I'm
to be
sorry,
around
Ninja.
and talk with. Shout out to Clash Bashing, who me and Rick did a little event with him, and we had so much fun. He's such a great, genuine guy. Use code BASH if you're ever going to buy anything. And third shout out goes to, I don't know his name, I'm very sorry, but the Clash of Stats guy who went to the bar with me both nights. He was a lot of fun to hang around. He's such a personality, and I really like spending time with everyone there.
Poor guy, you went to the bar with him. You never even asked his name.
I mean, it starts with an A, right? I don't want to butcher it.
Sam, do you have any shout outs?
Not really. I mean, it was great fun watching Worlds last weekend. I think all the casters did a great job, and including Darian, who stepped up this year, which I thought was very impressive. So shout out to all the casters who, actually, I didn't have a single complaint about any of the casters, which I haven't been able to say in the previous years. So well done, guys. You all did great.
Oh my gosh. All right. Also, Rick, get a new mic.
Yeah, or get new internet, whatever it is. Just fix it. Move house if you need to.
Dude, if it's really that bad, like that's gonna kill me editing this.
You'd have to re-record all your lines.
You are gonna be drinking while editing this. Otherwise, you're not making it.
You guys could have said something like earlier.
We did.
We did.
No, you let me ramble for so long. Like you told me I disconnected a while, but you didn't say it's been choppy.
Oh well. I'm just glad I'm not the editor.
This is literally like why we hang out and do mic checks before, and you guys were like, "No, you sound fine. You sound good."
Yeah, I mean, in that moment, you did. Yeah,
you sounded fine. You sounded fine. You then didn't sound fine later on.
Yeah. And I see zero messages about it telling me to fix my stuff.
Because we told you on here. Right, I'm done with this.
And Cart said in chat too.
Let's we can end it here. Let's go Team Trees. Let's go.
Yeah.
Team C's all the way.
Team Trees.